JF Stretford, Paddock. This is Transfers Live, and joining me for the first time in what feels like ages. Decades. Time goes slowly when you're not spending it with Alex Bagley. It's Alex Bagley, the housewife's favourite. How are we doing?
I'm not bad.
Yeah? We've been up to... You've been working hard, haven't you?
Been working hard.
Flower.
Playing a bit of golf, badly. Here and there.
Golf. What is it Churchill said? The only way to spoil a good walk.
That's it. That's all I'm doing.
How was your par?
My par?
Yeah.
Good. Had a few of them. A few pars, a few birdies, the usual. Good.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Always a pleasure to hear. Get involved in the chat, get involved in the comments, hit that like button, hit that share button as well. We're going to be talking about Leon Goretzka.
Ooh.
You like him, don't you?
He's good.
Yeah,
all right,
decent, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not
Big
bad.
lad, isn't he?
Big lad.
Hey?
Been in the gym, that lad.
Do you all have anti at Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
I'm not insinuating they're all
allegedly
taking barely legal substances, but you have
barely
to wonder.
legal.
Yeah,
that's a good term.
So, depends what you're talking about there, Baggers. Let's move
barely
on.
Legal substances you need in there.
Yes. Otherwise, you get into all sorts of trouble. Yes, we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Raphael Varane because already there's a spanner in the works, apparently. Don't worry, we're not going to be like proper melodramatic and going, it ain't happening or anything like that. It is. It's just because we're Manchester United and we do things differently. There's a bit of a delay with his visa and all that sort of stuff, or whatever. It's just a delay in his signing. I'll get into the nuts and bolts of it in a minute. Going to talk about Declan Rice, how he's not coming to Manchester United.
That's good.
So, sort of give you a bit of a plot spoiler on that one. Sorry, but does anyone really think he is? Well, not yet anyway.
No.
Paul Labille.
That lad, Pogba.
Right, I swear to God, man, I must have said this sentence about, not exaggerating, if I'm going to be honest, about 2,500 times in my life. There's another twist in the Paul Pogba saga.
Oh my God.
I've been saying that, right, since 2012. Not exaggerating, right? When I used to blog back in the day.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
Blog.
Yeah.
Twist, Paul Pogba saga.
Yeah, that was the thing when he came through the academy and it's like, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? He's going to go at Juve? No, he's going to stay. And he ended up going to Juve. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on that and how that can affect whether Ollie goes to Saul Niguez.
Yep.
Mr. Howson's favourite, or Ruben Neves, who's sort of become the new sort of flavour of the month with a lot of the tabloids. We're also going to talk about the players. I've been tweeting, you've probably seen it, about taking the knee next season. Good on him. That's what I say. Axel Tuanzebe could be, going back to Aston Villa. And Phil Jones, the forgotten man.
Philip Jones.
Still
playing for Manchester United somehow.
And I've decided, right, I made a conscientious decision the other day on the
go
channel. I'm on my own on this one.
Okay.
But I'm going to defend and stick up for Phil Jones. Because I've decided, right, do you know what I don't like? I'll take the mick out of our players if I want, yeah? You will.
No one
I'm
else
not having
can.
others.
No.
What are those scouts just piping up and City fans?
No.
Let's not forget, yeah, he's won as many European trophies as Manchester City Football Club.
He has.
He's won as many Premier League trophies as Liverpool Football Club.
He has.
So,
he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He was all right.
So why don't you lot shut up? We'll decide whether we want to take the mick out of him or not. And I don't want to. No. Right, so what did I say was starting off? I've forgotten in all the excitement. Goretzka. Yeah. This is a bit of a... It's a weird one, isn't it? Because Leon Goretzka, that's producer Skaman.
Bit of a jog on there.
It was like you running. I don't know if you heard that.
Bit
but
of
that
pace going past us there.
Sort of camp run I think I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, Leon Goretzka. Looks like we could be going head to head with Real Madrid. That was what he was saying. As you can see from the graphic, his contract ends in 2022. There's talk that Real Madrid are in for him. I mean, it just says United set to go head to head, but it is Real Madrid who have been linked with him.
Yep.
But there's also complications there because Real Madrid, how are they?
All over the place.
Yeah, financially. The whole of the Liga is in just financial dire straits, really.
Yeah.
I think there's only maybe Atletico who are sort of all right. But yeah, especially the two big clubs, Barcelona, we saw what happened with them when they had to give Memphis Depay a different contract to the one they'd offered him because they couldn't afford it. Real Madrid, who went big, didn't he, a few seasons ago? Remember when they brought in like Hazard and Jovic and everyone and just went berserk in the transfer market.
And they're just kind of gone as well.
Yeah, now they're in trouble. But apparently they can still get Goretzka. Also, there's another twist because I've seen a sort of more updated story or another story saying that Bayern Munich are going to try and offer him a new deal. I know he's not accepted any deal, but they're going to try and offer him an improved offer to the one they've already made because they're keen to keep him. We'll start at the beginning of all this stuff. Would you have him at United?
I think so. Good player. I think kind of fits into where Ollie wants his midfield to do. I think there's a lot of talk this summer about Ollie switching from being this 4-2-3-1 into being 4-3-3 and how that is the most important thing ever.
Yep.
It's not been too bad, the 4-2-3-1. And I think that more to the fact...
You're lying. You're telling me lies, you.
No, let me finish. The players in it have been pretty poor. Fred and McTominay, if you had a better version of both of them in there, we wouldn't be complaining about it.
No.
I think if that was Goretzka and Saul Niguez behind Bruno, no one would be moaning about playing 4-2-3-1. I think the fact that we've got McTominay, who's a little bit limited, Fred, we've discussed at length many a time. I think because you've got them in there, that's what's kind of holding us back a little bit. I think that's probably what's going through Ollie's mind at the minute, with all these rumours about these the midfielders coming in, talking about Goretzka, talking about Niguez, talking about who's the other one? Rice. But no, the other one, Camavinga and Neves as well. They all could play in a 2 still, alongside of Fred or McTominay. And I think if you started next season, Fred, one of these other players, or McTominay, one of these other players behind Bruno, that's taking Paul Pogba out of this. I don't think we'd be too disappointed. I think if you upgrade on Fred, it could still work. And Ollie, I think, would be comfortable being in that same kind of position, playing those same kind of players. Maybe if someone like a Trippier comes in at right back, it goes a little bit further forward than Wan-Bissaka does, he might still want to stick with the 2. But he's definitely going to fit. He could definitely fit into Manchester United.
Is it not the case, though, like the chicken and the egg theory, that if we got another world-class midfielder in, or a world-class midfielder, we wouldn't need 2?
No, maybe. You don't know.
Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't get one in and go, right, he's going to replace McTominay alongside Fred. Would it be like them 2 are out, Pogba's coming in, well, not coming in, but Pogba, Bruno, and Goretzka or Niguez or Rice or Camavinga. Bissouma was another one that people wanted. I don't think there's any truth to that one. But, I mean, get involved in the comments, get involved in the chat. Let us know what you think about Leon Goretzka. Personally, I'd file this under extremely doubtful. But as Bagger said, can someone come in and can we still keep that double pivot? Or
is better. Or get rid of it. I think the other weird thing about all these things we're talking about is that it's been strange these past few summers, because it seems like it's the Premier League teams, and there was always that thing, they're going to go to Madrid or Barca. They've got that, there's that big ticket to go over there, there's more money over there. That seems to have gone. There's only really PSG maybe buying in that mix now, because it looks like La Liga's gone. It looks like the Italian clubs haven't got the money anymore, and they're kind of scraping around a bit. Juventus maybe have enough money, but you've seen how they're going as well. They're still pushing for the Super League stuff. There's not too many things to compete with. So if a player wants to go from somewhere like a Bayern Munich, or in the case of Varane, from Real Madrid, there's only really the Premier League to go, or PSG. There's not many more places to go and get paid more money and play at the top level anymore. It's getting down to probably 4 or 5 teams that you can kind of step up to now. Same with Man United. I think that this thing about, we've always said that, Bruno, eventually there'll be started to be links of him going to Madrid or Barca. But there's not enough money there for that to happen, I don't think, at the minute. You've not got the case of Ronaldo could go and get more money, can pay the the fee and all that. I don't think that's going to be the case in the next couple of years. So the types of Goretzka might be able to come to Manchester United instead.
Yeah, maybe. You're right, because it is a bit of it's such a weird time, isn't it? Because you've got all this sort of perfect storm with the pandemic, with the fact that a lot of these clubs, Barca and Real Madrid, just anyway spent a lot of money, and then now we've had to say, hang on a minute, we can't do that. Then you've got other clubs like Bayern Munich and others who are, in a sort of weird position that they're not quite as rich as they used to be, but still got some money. So yeah, it is really odd. Then obviously thrown into that mix, you've got the super rich clubs like City, PSG, Chelsea. You've got the billionaire owners who can just. I know like PSG aren't quite as giddy as they were in the transfer market, but they're still big boys.
They have been this year.
Yeah.
They have been this year a bit.
No, yeah, sorry, sorry.
They got in Pogba this year. If the Pogba deal goes through this year, Wijnaldum, Hakimi, Ramos, Donnarumma, not in terms
fees,
of like
fee. Yeah, sorry,
in terms of fees.
You're right. Because they potentially could bring in like 5 players, but they're not going for like a Neymar 100 or a Mbappe or a Di Maria or whatever. It's like, yes, there's a few sort of signings in there, but nothing massive. But they can still make the wages. They can still bring in. If they wanted to go big for someone, they could do. Yeah. City are the same. They've been linked with Grealish and Kane. They can go massive. Chelsea sort of been linked with Haaland. I don't know how solid that is. They've sort of got Lukaku. I think Maka had today.
That would be madness, wouldn't it? Imagine that circle going round of Lukaku going to there.
I mean, fair play. I wouldn't be bothered.
I wouldn't
do you know what? Right, like Lukaku. I know this is revisionism about his time at United, and people want to go, oh right, actually we didn't use him right, or he left too soon, or he was a success. I mean, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
You know, all right, he got 42 goals in 96 games, which on paper is okay, but when you look at it, go back to that first season. I think he scored 9 goals in his first 11 games. Then didn't score, or he scored 1 in his next 8. Didn't score against the top 6, or scored 1 and got 1 assist against the top 6. That's the sort of thing that you had with the problems. It was all fits and starts. And when you needed him against your Cities, your Chelseas, your Liverpools, and your Spurs or whatever, your Cities, he didn't quite turn up. Do you know what I mean? There was the odd assist and the odd goal, but it wasn't great. So looking at it and going, oh, we missed Lukaku. I don't think we did. And plus he came back from the World Cup and he bulked up. I don't think he needed to do that. No. It just didn't make any sense. So I'm not, I've not got anything against Romelu Lukaku. I certainly don't look back at him with anger or with disdain or anything. But I've seen a few people saying, oh, this is typical, we shouldn't let him go. I think he had to move on.
It was the wrong time for him. It was the wrong time for Lukaku. I don't think if Ollie had gone in after Van Gaal, I don't think Lukaku comes to the Manchester United Football Club.
No, he's very much a Jose type player.
He's very much Jose. He's very much he's a player that needs the right players around him. United don't have them, still probably don't have them now. We've not really got people that like to put a load of crosses in compared to the likes of what Inter Milan have done. You know, that's how they kind of played. They play a lot more on the transition and all that kind of stuff. It's not what Ollie wants to do. You've seen the amount of goals we've scored since Ollie's come in, where it's one-touch passing in and around the box, and Martial, for as much as a poor season last season, involved in that. Rashford being involved in that. Fernandes being involved in that. Pogba. He's not that kind of player. He'd rather have someone who, with his back to goal, can play off a one-touch pass, and that's not what Lukaku is. He's a great player, but he's not what we need at the moment in time.
No, I agree with everything you just said. One player we do need at this moment in time, right now, is Raphael Varane. But we're not getting him just yet because just visa shite. Sorry.
I'm surprised there's not been more of this, to be honest. With the whole travel stuff that's been going on, I'm surprised there wasn't more of it in the Euros, bouncing between different countries and stuff. There was always going to be problems with getting visas, with being able to go into these places, different COVID restrictions and all that kind of stuff. There was talk about him needing to quarantine when he arrived. There was talk about him because he went via France. There's going to be a problem because they've gone on the quarantine list for England at the minute. Now he's in Spain. Is he okay? What's the kind of rules? It's a bit all over the place, and I'm not surprised that there's been problems with this. I'm just surprised there's not been more problems all the way through. I think the fact that these players have been coming into pre-season in little bits here and there has meant that probably a lot of the clubs have disguised how difficult it's been for them to go on holiday and come back in again. I think you've seen even the players this week coming back to train at United are all coming back at different times, or they're getting photographed at different times. I'm not surprised that there's problems people getting into the country at the minute.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you want United to get this sorted, and you have to say, okay, we are in the middle of a pandemic still, even though we're coming out of it. So there is going to be complications, and especially with the size, the transfer the size of Varane in terms of the player and the clubs that you're dealing with. But it should have been dealt with, and it's a bit of a shame because I'm just worried. My main concern is going into that Leeds game because I wanted to get him ready, get him into the team. Yeah. It says there on the graphic, wait until the season starts to experiment with different playing styles. If Ollie is going to do experiments, you don't want him having to do loads of them at the beginning of the season.
And not against Leeds, really.
Yeah. Maybe against Everton would have been ideal this weekend to do that and say, okay, let's try something different. That's obviously not going to happen. But wait and see. Like you said, Baggers, as well, we saw pictures of Paul Pogba back in training as well, which is good. So yeah, we just need to get Varane here and get him playing.
I think the worry is that you saw the Liverpool team that they put out the other week. When they got beat, they played near enough their first 11. They were missing, I think, Alisson and Fabinho was the 1 or 2 they were missing, but they had the normal front 3. They had the normal back 4. We're missing. Maguire's only just back in this week. He's not played yet. Luke Shaw's only just come back in. They've not really said about his injury. Tellers is out. You've got Lindelof's only just come back in. I've not seen him yet. Bailly went to the Olympics. Wan-Bissaka's been there, but that's 3 of your back 4 that aren't even back yet. If Varane kind of slots in there as well, you've then got in front of him. Matic has played a lot of minutes. You've not had McTominay playing. You've not had Fred playing. You've not had Pogba playing. You've not had Bruno yet. Your midfield's not even back yet. We've not seen any of the team yet, and you can't. We saw last year that slow start ended up hurting us. It wouldn't, if you'd have got 6 points in the first 2 games, we wouldn't have won the league. But you don't know how that does down the line. And this season, City are probably going to be better. Liverpool have been better than they were last year. Chelsea have got a better squad. If you drop points early on, especially when we've got not an easy start, but we've not got any real big, not any of the normal big 6 teams in the first 6 games. If you slow start, if you do what we've done the last few years, which is drop points to the likes of Crystal Palace and stuff like that, it's a lot of catching up to do. So we can't really afford to do that.
No, last season, especially at Old Trafford, was a disaster. Losing to Palace, losing to Arsenal, losing to Chelsea. Drawing Chelsea. Obviously that hammering by Spurs. It was just a debacle. I'm going to go into some of the comments before we move on. We've got people talk about Donny van der Beek, whether he's good enough to start, where he should play. Yash Gami says Donny's a lot better than he gets credit for. Hasn't had a chance to prove it at United. A few people weighing in. GS says Donny's not good enough to start for City, so should not be starting for us. I don't know if we can be too. If that is the benchmark, I get that argument because that's what you should be looking at. But it's a little bit flawed if we're going to look at it and go, okay, would other players get in our team necessarily get in City's team? I think we've got a pretty strong 11. I think our 11 with Sancho and Varane, maybe the best 11 in the league.
It's up there.
Yeah.
But in terms of balance, you look at City. You've got at the minute quite clear holes. They've not got a striker anymore unless they get Kane in. Left back, Zinchenko's good, but he's nowhere near the levels of what Luke Shaw is. He's not Luke Shaw levels. He's not even what the Scousers have got. Or whatever they've got, things at left back. Same with Liverpool. They're 11. They've had Firmino starting still, so they're not the best. Midfield's not the best either. United have got a very strong 11, but like you said, it's that second string. It's that can we rotate someone like Bruno out? Can we afford to do that? Can we start without Marcus Rashford that we're going to have to do for the first time in 2 years?
I think people have just sort of dismissed that, how much we're going to miss him. I think people are just going, doesn't matter. Martial's just coming on the left. Or, we've got Sancho now. Marcus was like, he got you a goal or an assist every other game. You take that out, you're going to hurt. I know you're bringing in a different player, but not necessarily a player who's going to be as productive. Marcus Rashford's been one of the most productive players in the world over the last 2 seasons, so you're going to miss him.
I mean, talking about players we've not seen yet, Cavani's not been near training yet, so he's not going to start the season flying as he was towards the end of last season. He may start the first few on the bench, so you're starting with Mason, who's not played a lot at number 9, or Martial, who was really poor last season, and then your other goal scorers, Rashford's out, Cavani might not start a few games. A lot of reliance on Jadon Sancho.
It's that second string that worries. That's the only thing. It's not like what sort of did for us last season was when Eric Bailly got injured because he was flying. Paul Pogba got injured when Bruno fell off the pace just for a few games and there was no one to step up. Whereas City, like they lose De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva or someone steps up. They lose Aguero.
Well, Gundogan
came in and scored 8 goals in 10 games, whatever it was, something stupid. They lose Aguero. Aguero gets rotated with Sterling and Jesus. Yeah. There's always options there. Or Phil Foden. United, that second sort of team just wasn't quite up to it.
I'm hoping to see something with Donny van der Beek. We mentioned the people in the chat mentioning him. It's where he fits in. Can he fit in as that second midfielder in the 2? Can he fit in alongside Bruno? Because look, if you're going to say he's going to be Bruno's backup, he's not going to play a lot of games. You've seen what Bruno Fernandes does.
Yeah.
You're not going to drop someone that's going to score that many goals, which I'm expecting him to do again.
Yeah.
You're not going to drop him. You're not going to rest him. So it's the case of, how does he fit into this team alongside of Bruno? Does he do, Pogba got shifted out to the left-hand side, played in midfield, which are his favourite positions. Can Donny do that and step up and be better than what he was last season? There's reports today he's training well. There's the thing in the Athletic about him bulking up and all this kind of stuff. Hopefully that helps him for this season. Hopefully he can play alongside a McTominay or one of our new signings and play in that 2 or play in midfield would be great.
100%. Ashwin Premnath says Neves in as a deep line playmaker, not going to get a destroyer like Ndidi / Rice. 30 million isn't bad for Neves. Cheers for sacrificing Love Island, Jay. This is sort of
missing Love
sacrifices
Island,
that I make for this channel. So, don't worry about it. I'll watch it when I get home.
Turning tweet notifications off.
I can't, mate. I can't be distracted by that. It's a sad state of affairs. Danny Shields, who's been a member for 8 months in the first team. Thanks a lot, Danny. Always a big supporter of the channel. Says, with him bulking up to deal with the physicality of the Premier League, could Donny at 24 transition himself into a Carrick style number 6?
Big
talk
shoes
to me.
Fill. You've seen the quality of him. He can definitely do it, but it's a very, very different position to where he's done before. He's played a little bit more in the pockets and all that. To play like Michael Carrick did, you have to be very, very good. And to do that in the Premier League is another big step. And to have to do that alongside someone, if it is a McTominay or a Fred, is another big ask, because you know that they're slightly limited. If it is a Saul Niguez next to him, maybe he can do something more than that. Maybe he can drop in and do it. If it's we talked about Rice and Didi, that he comes in and plays alongside, maybe he can be a little bit deeper. But I've not seen it from him yet. I'm hoping to see more from him this season. I'm hoping that Ollie can trust him enough to try him in those positions, because at the minute he just didn't at all last year. And even he came on in midweek last week against Brentford and kind of played more in the number 10. He looked all right, but he didn't do what you'd expect that kind of midfielder to do. So it's a question of where Ollie sees him fit and whether he can play in those positions.
It's weird because I sort of don't know a lot about him at all, and like I didn't see a lot of him at Ajax.
No.
At all. I'm not just pretending saw a couple of the time in the Champions League. I didn't really get much of a sort of measurement of how good he was. So I thought watching him when he plays Manchester United, that'd be easier, and it hasn't been, because he's only had fits and starts, and it's difficult to make a judgment on him based on what I've seen. So I don't want to go, oh, he's mint, he's this. I haven't seen enough of it. No. I don't want to say he's rubbish, because I haven't seen enough of it.
No.
I need to see him playing more games. I think he deserves to play a few more games, but he has got to take his chances. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he gets, say Ollie says to him, all right, give you sort of, even if it's like 3 or 4 games on the spin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to step up in those 3 or 4 games. I remember, it sounds like an eternity ago, but I remember Rooney got sent off against West Ham, I think it was. Yeah. And there was this big debate going on about Mata or Rooney in the 10.
Yeah.
Like most people wanted Mata.
Yeah.
Mata was like the flavour of the month, and people were sort of saying Rooney's in decline, get Mata in the 10. Rooney gets suspended for 3 games. Mata plays in the 10 for those 3 games and just didn't do anything. It's like, and I love that Mata. But he didn't step up, and then Rooney comes back and he's straight back in the 10, and that's sort of, and he makes that role with him. That role, he backs that role as his own. So I just feel like, if he does get a chance, and I think he should get one eventually, he's just got to take it, man. There's no sort of excuses around that, to be honest with you.
The good news is now, this is the first time, we all said last year, look, he needs more starts, but this is the first time I've heard reports coming out of he's flying in training. He is, he is pushing things. He has been working hard extra to get back into the team. If people are going, he needs to start, well, no. Forget how good Scott McTominay is on the ball. You know what you're going to get out of him. You know what you're going to get as a player. You've seen him coming through. He works his bollocks off. So you're going to, a player like Scott McTominay, you're going to have to fight his position. You have to fight for him to get that position off him. So it doesn't matter how technical you are and how good you look on the ball. If you're not going to offer what he offers defensively, work rate rise, something that Ollie came in straight away and did more running. That was what the whole team did when Ollie first came in. If you can't do that, then you're not going to play.
100%, mate. That's very, very true. All of that. One player isn't going to be playing for Manchester United this season. Is Declan Rice.
No.
Yeah, because this started, didn't it, when... Well, it's been going for about 2 years, to be honest with you. Rice was linked with us. There, you see on the graphic, £100 million price tag, which is just fucking ridiculous for Declan Rice. I'm sorry. He's a good player. He ain't worth 100 million. That's put United off. There were some rumours going on around, weren't there, that maybe we'll do a part exchange with Jesse Lingard, because obviously he had such a fantastic spell at the London Stadium last season. It doesn't look like he's going back there, and even if he was, I don't think... Because if to that deal to happen, it would have been, say, Jesse, and we give him 40, 50 mil. Yeah. I don't think that happens even.
No.
So that just, to me, all looks dead in the water. We'll see whether we get him next season. I've got a sneaky feeling he might end up going to Chelsea. I know he came from Chelsea, didn't he?
Came from Chelsea. But
I think
Mason
he might.
Mount, best mates.
I think I just can. Maybe that coincides with Kante maybe getting to that age where they're looking at who can come in and replace it. I don't know. But yeah, it just says that 100 million's put us off. We're going to wait next summer. We'll see what happens. I think next summer's going to be a bit chaotic.
Yeah, I think so. When everything settles down a bit.
Yeah, and then you've got potentially Haaland with his buyout clause if he doesn't go anywhere this summer. Maybe West Ham is resigned to losing Declan Rice.
You don't Paul Pogba situation.
What's going to go on there? He could be available on a free. So where's he going to end up?
There's all sorts of things can go on next summer.
Yeah,
but I've heard the same thing about Declan Rice. I think West Ham have just gone. People go, he's not a £90 million player. So but what you need to look at is that West Ham would probably need to spend 70 to get 2 players that might fit that position, might not. Because if we're looking at players at 40 million quid and we can't get one to play midfield. We're not going, he's easy to get, go and get that. How hard must it be for West Ham to do that same thing? So everyone's just saying, well, he's not a £90 million player. Well, he is, because they'll probably have to sign 2 or 3 £30 million players. 2 of them won't work, 1 of them will, to fill that position. That's what these clubs to do. So for 90 million quid, that's how much to West Ham he costs for them, right? That's what It's for them. It's not about how good of a player he is. How much does West Ham need him? He was one of their best players. He captained the team a few times last season. He's that important to them. You can't just replace him straight away. So that's why they're asking for that money. Like they said, maybe next summer they're going to have to bring the price down when it gets to the last 1-2 years of his deal, and they have to start thinking we can't lose him on a free. So look, West Ham did all right last season, did very well, they finished 7th in the end last season, 6th or 7th. They're in Europe, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in Europe.
So they're in Europe, so they need a big squad. We've seen how bad that Europa League is. If you take out one of their players and take out one of their best players, they need to replace it with 2 or 3. And I can understand why West Ham are digging their heels, and they don't need them. They obviously don't need the money. So it's just, I can understand why they're doing it, and I can understand United going, do you know what, we'll look elsewhere for now and let's try it again next summer.
100%, and a lot of this sort of speculation revolves around what happens with Paul Pogba. Been a little bit of a sort of, again, a twist, as I said earlier, in the saga. Romano was talking earlier, and he said that there's the really big chances that Paul Pogba stays at United this summer. So if he stays this summer, that has a knock-on effect in terms of who we go for. So I think you can forget about your Niguez's and your Neves. I don't see us... if he don't go anywhere, I think Niguez was going to come in if we got 50 million quid for Paul Pogba.
Do you think?
I do. I think we're done spending. I think the only way we spend money now is if someone goes out. And the only 2 players potentially going out, or 3, that could bring in money are David De Gea, Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard. I don't think any of them going anywhere. Well, I don't know about Pogba, but if he doesn't... I think
Jesse could go still. I think I still think if there's someone comes in from abroad and you get a decent money for him, I still think he could go. Someone
could twist on deadline day as well. Someone could go like, listen, season's not got off the way we want it. Get Jesse in, bang him in for West Ham last season. Maybe the United can do a deal. I still got a sneaky feeling that Pogba stays and this Niguez and Neves thing, which I still think connected.
I think it's more Jesse. I think more than Pogba. Yeah. I think if Jesse goes, I think that's the spending. I think they'll spend another 10-15 million on top or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that Delo goes. I think that's the key for Trippier or whatever.
I thought you were going to say that's the key to everything.
No, the logo is the key for everything. No, the logo is, I think that's Trippier, but then I think Jesse's in there.
Yeah.
I think it might even be just wages and stuff off the bill as well. Maybe they're looking at, if you can get Tuanzebe in 5 million for Tuanzebe, I think we're going to talk about. If you can get that in sorted. Phil Jones, if you can get someone to pay, I don't know, tenner a week off him, anything, just something off what he's paying right now, then I think that all those things kind of could add up to us getting another midfielder in. I don't think they mind spending an extra 20 million quid on a midfielder like a Niguez. I think they might do that. I think they do that. Mean,
I'd love I think regardless of whether Pogba goes or not, we need another midfielder. We need someone who can get, sort of stick a foot in or control the game from the back a little bit. Back of midfield, I should say. Robert Macari says, get Luke Chadwick back into the midfield, lol. Fair play to you. Danny Shields says, if Chelsea get Lukaku, City get Kane, Barca and Real being skint, could we get giddy about Haaland next summer?
I think City to Kane getting City is the big one.
Kane getting City?
Kane getting City.
Is that how you word it? Is that how it works? Kane gets City.
Kane gets City.
That's how small City are.
That's how
the players
small
get them, not the other way around.
I think that's the key to it. Because I don't think he's got anything to Chelsea that goes, I'll go there. But
if City... I'm going to do what you did then. If City get Kane and Grealish, whatever they win don't count. Does it? That's just cheating based, and I don't mean the cheating they usually do. That's just like another cheating. It's like, all right, who's the 2 best players, that we physically can get who aren't at United or Liverpool? Harry Kane, Jack Grealish, 200 million quid. Right, there we go.
The only hope with that is it's so good it doesn't work. It's so mad.
Listen, we did it. We bought Varane and we didn't win anything.
Yeah.
That season. Do you know what I mean? Varane was like, he was amazing. And it just didn't work out. Ruud van Nistelrooy came to United, he won 1 title in 5 years and didn't win the Champions League.
You never know.
It happens, man.
So that could be it. That's my only hope with it at the minute. I'm not that bothered about Kane. I'm kind of done with. I think that he's got 2 or 3 years left with his injuries and stuff. I'm not that bothered. I'd hate Grealish going there.
Really?
I'd hate Grealish going there. Not even because I want him at United. I just think he's mint, and I don't want him playing for Manchester City. That's the thing with him. I don't want him going there, but I don't mind Kane going there. Just like, that was always he was going to go somewhere eventually, and City's a good fit for him. Go there, fine, whatever. I'm not that bothered about Kane.
Yeah.
Because I think that we could get someone. I still think we could potentially get Haaland. But it's like I said, it's not worked before.
Well, you got to remember about Grealish, right? He's a big United fan, yeah.
I
See
know.
him deleting all his United tweets.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the master plan.
He's a big United fan, big Villa fan.
Right. So he can go to City, right, for 100 million.
Score on goals, is it?
It's going to be terrible, right? He's just going to not get on with Pep, kicking off, turning up late, disappearing.
And what are we going to do?
Do you know what I mean?
Give him Martial and he's going to come to United. Is that what's going to happen?
A season later, after they've not won anything, because Grealish has been a disaster, and they're like, just get him off the books. United will swoop in with 10 million quid offer, and Pep will be that fuming with him. We'll get him, and then we'll win the treble. Back in the real world, listen, if they get them two, it's going to be very difficult. But all you can do is keep your own side of the street clean, innit? So we've just got to get as strong a squad as we can.
We've kept improving every year.
Yeah, we've just got to do that. And the one thing that they haven't got, despite the fact they've got Phil Foden, who's just an anomaly, they ain't got much of a sort of a youth academy setup where players come through into the first team. They've got a good academy, and so they get the sort of the best players around Europe and put them in the academy. But whereas at United, we sort of nurture these players with a view to getting them in the first team. Andy Elanga, for example, who looks like he's knocking on the door. Obviously, Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, we keep doing it. But I don't think City do that. So you look at some of the young players we've got, potentially in a couple of years, the likes of Mason Greenwood could be the best striker on the planet, really. So, you know, you have to wait and see what happens with that one. Yes, we are clutching at straws.
We are, of course we are.
You've got to, haven't you? So we'll see what happens with Paul Pogba, which leads to Saul Niguez, whether he's going to come to Manchester United Football Club, because the rumours are still doing the rounds, and it says there on the graphic, United see potential in Saul Niguez, and they see as one of the biggest opportunities. So it looks like, Ollie and the club still feel he's gettable. I mean, he played 41 times for Atletico Madrid last season, so he is an important player for them. But they do have this thing, Atletico, where if a player wants to go, or if there's a certain amount of money, you can get him. Do you know what I mean? Even players that you seem vital, like when they sold Thomas Partey, and I was like, I know it was a buyout clause, but I was like, they're going to miss him, and they won the league. Do you know what I mean? And they've always done it with the strikers, whether that's Costa or Aguero or Forlan or Torres.
They've always just gone replace. Just,
do you know what I mean?
Ridiculous
and it's like they always seem to get someone in who, Luis Suarez, who Barcelona give up on, and he's the top scorer and everything. So that's what they do. So you can understand why United might look at it and go, Saul Niguez is gettable. We could do this. Now, you mentioned Trippier before. I don't see us getting Trippier and Saul Niguez. I just don't see that happening. Could happen. Unlikely.
Could happen.
But yeah, again though, all this seems to me to be a little bit entwined with either, like you said, Jesse Lingard, or like I said, Paul Pogba. I think someone's got to go.
I think that's the case. I think everything that's been kind of rumoured online at the minute is that the next incoming from Man United is going to be after some outgoings. So whether that's, even if it's just loans going out, they've got to be done first. We've done the two positions that Ollie maybe went, they're the ones I want. We've got your two biggest players. We've got the two best players in. We were all worried about midfield. I don't think Ollie is. I think that he's just like, I like Freddie McTominay still. I think he likes that thing. Or he's got Donny. He thinks that maybe he steps up. He's still got Paul Pogba in his mind. He's not as worried as maybe everyone else was about midfield. And like I said, get a few players off the books. Get Jesse out there. Get Delo out. Then we can strengthen a little bit more elsewhere. And I think that, look, it seems like everything so far, touch wood, has actually gone to plan for Man United, and they've actually done this how they wanted things to go this summer. They've got the two players they wanted. They're now at the stage of we need to get rid of a couple of players. It seems all organised and stuff,
do you know what
which
it is,
a
though,
bit mad.
Baggers, and I'm not just hating on the owners and the powers that be for the sake of it, but it was a pair of tap-ins.
Oh, it wasn't
these
difficult.
Transfers. Like, you wanted Sancho last season. We spent all summer more or less trying to get him, waiting for Dortmund to blink. They didn't, so we knew that, like, Sancho was right for coming. Dortmund wanted another season out of him because they weighed it up. If we either get 130 million for him or 120 million quid, then that's worth it to us. If we don't, we keep him for another season, we get Champions League football, that's worth 50 million, 60 million to us, which is what they did. Without Sancho, they don't get Champions League football. They'd have sold Sancho to us and gone and bought, I don't know, Leon Bailey or whoever, just another player who's not quite as good.
Wasn't it?
Depay, sorry, don't get me started. You ain't getting Champions League football when Memphis Depay replaces Jadon Sancho, and you ain't winning the German Cup either, just to let you know. So it worked for him. So this season, there's a lot of...
He was always going to go.
He was always going to go because of several reasons. One, he's a year further into his contract. Two, he had this sort of agreement that I'll give you another year if a decent offer comes
like Kane's
in.
got now.
Yeah. 3, this is something that I was chatting to Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic the other day when we were talking about this, and it's a good point. It's like, when you look at Dortmund's MO of bringing in young players, nurturing them and letting them move on, they have to keep those players happy, and they have to sell that club to those players. They have to show that they don't make life difficult for players. No. Because otherwise, players go, look how they treated Jadon Sancho. He gave him another year, and he still wouldn't let him go.
Yeah, and then they ended up
sitting
and then
on
the bench and all this.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, do I really want to go to Dortmund? Or, if you're Jude Bellingham, do I want to stay here? Is this for me? So I get that's what they do. So that was an easy one for United. 73 million quid. Yes, you can go, we're spreading it out over 5 years. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what we should be doing. That's the price we should be doing.
Right, so there you go, that one. Varane, he made that deal happen when he said, I want to go to United.
That was it, yeah, that was it.
As soon as he says, I want to go to Manchester United, that's done. You've got one of the best defenders in the world for 40 odd million quid. Yeah. It's a tap-in. So whilst, yes, we've got these deals done, and I'm positive and I'm pleased about it, I don't look at it and going, tell you what, Manchester United done really well there. Because neither of those transfers were like, how have you made that work?
Yeah.
You know
and it's
I mean?
Also, it's not one of them transfers, like when we signed Wan-Bissaka, you had that list of 300 right-backs, and you ended up...
They said 2,000.
2,000 right-backs.
Right, that's every right-back. You were on it. Do you remember that time you played right-back and 5-a-side? You were on that list, baggers, because that is literally everyone in professional football who plays at right-back. Yeah. And then we dwindled it down to 3. You could have literally
and you've got
put your head out the window, shouted, who's the best right-back available? And then someone would have shouted back, Wan-Bissaka.
Done.
Yeah, because he was.
Who's the best centre-half in the league available right now from outside the top 6? Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get that one.
Yeah.
They were very, very obvious signings.
And also...
And these kind of seem the same.
Yeah, and also these were obvious signings we did for the maximum amounts of money possible. We went to Leicester and they went, me and you've done this routine loads and we're going to carry on doing it. Go on, you be United, I'll be Leicester.
No, can we have Harry Maguire for 50 million quid?
No.
How much is he?
He's 80 million plus 5 million add-ons, 85 million quid.
So what about 60?
No.
What about 55 plus Phil Jones?
Carry on, it's going to be 90.
70.
Keep going, son. We're here all day. He's just signed a contract. We've got owners who've got a bit of money. We're not getting rid of him.
71.5 million.
Do you know what? We'll keep him. Him and Johnny Evans, decent.
All right. How about 80 plus 5?
Done.
All right.
That's what it was. It was we paid exactly what they said, and it was the same with Wan-Bissaka.
It's the same with Sancho in the end.
We've not put you through another role play with Wan-Bissaka, but we said we tried to be clever and said, well, we'll give you 35 million and 10 million if we win the Champions League. You're not even in the Champions League. No, we're not doing that. So let alone win it.
Yeah.
It's just United do the obvious sometimes. Sometimes they don't even do that. But like with even a bargain that summer, right? Dan James, and I'm not having a dig at Dan James. I think he does what he says on the tin. But everyone went on about him. Dan James, 15 million quid, up to 80 million Van-ons. That's a snip. That's a bargain. Leeds were going to get him 4 months earlier for 4 million quid, and he played like 10 games from then, from when Leeds went in for him to where we got him. And he wasn't amazing in them 10 games to triple his value.
No.
It was just a case of United came calling and Swansea went, oh, well, 15 million. United went,
yeah, done, finished.
Yeah, done there, sweet. That's it, you said 50 million now. Well, actually, we want 3 million add-ons.
The big one will be the midfielder. That's the one that they can potentially get a good deal.
If United pull out a midfielder now, if United somehow...
For anything under... If they spend less than £50 million on a midfielder and net spend a 20...
And a midfielder, I don't just mean they go out and buy Mark Noble.
So
I mean a midfielder that comes into the team.
Neves, Saul Niguez and... What's his name now? You said the other one. Who's the other player?
Oh, Camavinga.
If you get one of them for a net spend of 20 million quid, with whatever you do...
Talk about net spend.
We do with Jesse Lingard. If Jesse Lingard goes out the door and that's what you spend, we've done well.
And that's
you've had a good deal.
Well,
but I don't think it'd be very, very good if that happens.
Now listen, I know you are one of those people that flies planes over grounds that says all lives matter.
Yeah,
so
that's me.
Gutted to it.
I am.
That players are taking the knee again next season. I'm joking as well. Baggers takes the knee all the time.
Yeah.
Statement posted by Maguire. In fact, loads of them posted it. Paul Pogba's posted it. Diogo Dalot. I think it's pretty much everyone. Says that United players are going to continue to support taking the knee next season. Statement that you can go. Well, you can see it. It's going to happen in the Premier League. Obviously, this time it's going to happen with fans there.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much been. I know we've had a few fans in 10,000 or whatever, but this is going to be in the Premier League the first time where you're going to have full stadiums.
Yeah.
Full stadia, as they
full
say,
stadia.
plural.
Yep.
and we'll see what sort of reception we'll get. We know in the Euros there was a smattering of boos on there, but I think people are on board now.
That kind of went away. I think the right people got in the grounds and, And
I think the argument with that was, this is going to be a distraction, this is going to cause division, and England went all the way to the final, and it was just like, well, it's not, is it?
No, not in the
And also, I like the way there was a solidarity. It wasn't just black players that were doing it. Obviously, the white players were doing it. People like Harry Kane, who I'm going to hate when he goes to City, but he spoke up about Jordan Henderson, people like that.
Yeah.
Obviously changed his tune since he was wearing T-shirts back in Luis Suarez, but fair enough. A person can change. They obviously showed solidarity. It was a collective thing. We're now seeing it again with United. You've got Harry Maguire, the captain, other players as well. And I ain't got a problem with it. And my thing with it is, yes, it highlights the issue and it's sort of like it's reminding us all, or highlighting the fact that there is inequality and stuff. But you need more than just people taking the knee. And I don't think you can go, well, now people are taking the knee. That's that dealt with. I don't think many people think that anyway. But yeah, I'd like to see some real sort of action taken when it comes to tackling racism. And I think Tyrone Mings, bizarrely, who never saw this one coming, has been like, someone who's led the way.
It was fantastic.
When he had a go at Pretty Patel,
which was bang brilliant. Which was bang on, because they came out at the start of it and said, "Oh no, we support, not support, but don't say that they want people that booze."
You've got every right to boo. Pretty Patel said.
And then she's supporting the team, and he went, "Well, hang on, no, that's not how it goes. Yeah. This team that you want to support is what they're going to do." And look, that's good. That's the good thing is, all the players have come out and said that now, and that's the message as well. So that's the message for the start of the season. This team you want to support, that's what they're doing. You either get behind it or you don't. That's the decision.
Did you ever see that guy in front of his telly booing it?
Yeah, ridiculous.
In my 41 years
humans
on planet Earth, that's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
And then
booing your own telly and filming yourself doing it. Hey, what's all that about? I bet he was gutted when England kept winning.
Yeah,
hey, imagine him exploding when black players miss penalties. I bet he's
he
had
was
a heart attack.
Gone.
Yeah, gone. But yeah, obviously, fully support that idea. Long may it continue, but with some real actions as well. I don't want people to think this is it. We need to see real change. But I fully support United players doing it. I'm glad they're all coming out and doing it again. Yeah. Axel Tuanzebe. We were talking about him before. Me and Patterson did a tier list and we were saying how he's got a great chant.
He does have a great chant.
It's weird, isn't it, right? He's got a great chant. Right. Paul Pogba ain't got a chant, really, has he? Like,
by the way, have you seen the Villa video from this week? I've got
no.
The ones about them singing Super Jack Grealish saying you won't get this at City. I was just like, and just the quote tweet was, "No, you're right, they'll never learn them words." That was it. I'm just like going, what do you mean?
Honestly, gutted. So Axel Tuanzebe, he's had a bit of a time of it on the old Axel. I really like Axel Tuanzebe. He's been a fantastic youngster for Manchester United. Got his, he went on loan to Aston Villa, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, came back, helped them get promoted via the playoffs, did they?
He did, yeah.
Came back. Everyone was thinking, right, everything is lining up for him now to kick on and play in the first team.
Yep.
He's a young player. He's had a season in the Championship, a successful season, rough and tumble at the Championship. Comes into United. There's a space up for grabs next to Harry Maguire.
Yep.
No one's nailed it down. Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof are still sort of debating who's the best there. He comes in and takes it. Just kept getting injured. Had a couple of stinkers as well.
He did.
I don't want to be harsh on it because he had a great game in Paris last season.
Yep.
Then against Istanbul, I think he got hooked at half time. Just wasn't happening for him. So I'm not criticising him, lad, because he's still young. He's still got lots to offer. But you're beginning to wonder whether it's the beginning of the end
it is
for
a
him
little
at
bit.
United, because apparently, if I can just find the thing that I found, it was from the Telegraph. Aston Villa are in for him. They're trying to get him, and they're looking at getting him. I think on a permanent deal.
Yeah.
Just trying to say, because United will consider offers for the centre back as they risk losing him for free next year. Now there has been other suggestions by reports you can see from the graphic that he might go back on loan. Who knows?
There was also that he might get a new contract.
I think that's the thing, is get him on a new contract so he doesn't go into a final year and goes for 4 million or not 4 million,
I know what you mean.
8 million or something stupid. He needs a season somewhere.
He does,
because he ain't going to get it at United with Raphael Varane here.
No,
he needs a season, first team football in the Premier League, Villa's ideal. Shows what you're about. Come back. You're still a very young man.
Yeah.
With experience and sort of get games under your belt, man. Just because he's just had fits and starts. And there's a very, very talented defender there.
There is.
And I'd actually worry about selling him because I think that can come back and bite you in the ass.
I think it does. I think I think it could be bigger than us when we sold Johnny Evans kind of thing. Just let him go and then all of a sudden you go, well, hang on, everyone wants him now sitting after him.
Remember that.
He would have just fit. And he'd have done the job all the way through. I think there could be something that I said this about. You saw what happened at City last season where they brought in Diaz and that was right. Diaz and Laporte, that's your starting, done, finished. All of a sudden it's Diaz and John Stones fits in. And I kind of thought that maybe Tuanzebe doesn't quite fit alongside Maguire. And maybe if he plays on the left-hand side with someone different next to him, with a Varane, maybe that's the partnership that clicks and is even better than having Harry Maguire in the team.
Yeah.
And I thought something could be there. I don't think Ollie wants to risk that. I don't think he's going to try and risk that. I think it's set in stone who his back four is going to be. I also think if Varane doesn't start straight away, I still think we'll just start with Lindelof. I didn't mind him that much. It'd be Lindelof and Maguire until Varane starts. So I think that get games. That's the most important thing. It is go and get games. I don't want to see him sold because, like you said, there's still the potential there. The games he's had when he was unbelievable in that Paris game. You're not a fluke to do what he did against Paris, against Neymar and stuff like that. It's not a fluke. You've got to have a bit of quality about you to come in, having not played any football and come in and do that.
That's the sort of game
ridiculous.
You could that can be like 5-0.
Yeah.
Like you can just have if he'd have had the game against Paris that he had against Istanbul, it would have been 5-0.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He steps up, and that's what I mean with Tuanzebe. He's got it in him.
Yeah.
So there is a very, very good defender there. This isn't like a case of you just trying to flog a dead horse where he ain't that good, but you just keep trying hope for the best. He is an excellent defender. It's whether he's got that consistency in him, whether he can get that fitness in him, whether he's got that belief maybe that he's a Manchester United player. I think he probably has, but he needs a season, man. He needs a season.
Now, I don't take too much from this because he came out with utter wibble after it. But Charlie Austin, when he played for QPR against him the week, came out and said, playing against those Mengi and Tuanzebe, they were quiet. They didn't say anything. And I don't think Harry Maguire is the biggest talker on the football pitch. I think he's got better. But I don't think, from the thing you've seen, he's not the biggest talker. He's not someone that talks people through a game. Maybe Tuanzebe just needs someone that is just loud next to him, that just talks him through the game. Players like Tyrone Mings that he goes to Villa with might not be a better player, but might be a better talker and talks people through the game better. And it might be something as simple as that, is it's just not quite the personality fit at the back for Tuanzebe to quite work out. Like you said, maybe he goes elsewhere, maybe he learns a bit more of that, or maybe, like I said, he comes back in and he fits alongside Rafa Varane a little bit better than Harry Maguire does, and it comes a partnership that maybe doesn't play week in, week out, but in the cup games, we're happy to play Tuanzebe and Varane in 12 months' time after he's got a bit of experience. But I'd be happy to see where he goes. Villa looks better because I think they're going to be a better team next year, whether they have Grealish or not. They've spent a lot of money. They looked better last year. I think they got a bit unlucky with injuries. I think they got a bit unlucky with how the games worked out. They always had games in hand, They never got the momentum. I think they'll be a top 10 team next year. But I think you go to Newcastle, I don't want to see him in a relegation battle or anything like that if he went there. I'd rather see him in somewhere like Villa, not got European football, but are playing at a good level week in, week out. I'd rather him go somewhere like that.
Yeah, I still love Steve Bruce, me, so I wouldn't mind if he went to Newcastle. But I get what you're on about. Yeah. And I think Villa, you'd expect them to be comfortably safe, wouldn't you, next season? So you don't think you'd go in there and get a struggle, because sometimes what happens, especially when you go on loan, if you go on loan to a club that's struggling, you get the blame because fans look at you and go, he's just here for an holiday.
Oh, not just that.
Yeah, he's not here permanently. He's you don't have that protection.
When that manager if that manager gets sacked mid-season as well, if you've not got in a steady team, the manager goes. You see what happened with
James Garner. Watford was he went to Watford. Sorry, Watford to Forest, didn't he?
Yeah. He was playing at the start of it. Manager gets sacked. You're not. I need to stay up.
Yeah.
You're not staying in. I think that's been the case. You want to be in a team that's steady with the manager, and I think that if you lose that, it's a massive thing, especially at centre half as well. Especially with, it's not like you're going to get subbed on and you're going to get a chance. You're either starting or you're not in that position.
No, I agree completely. I'm just going to touch on this briefly because Mac had it in his news today, so I don't want to labour the point. Phil Jones, I can hear you chuckling to yourself.
Sir Phil.
Shame yourself. Apparently, he's being labelled sort of unsellable because of just the deal that he's on, and the fact he's not played for 2 seasons. Just coming out of the reports like United are trying to sell him. It's proving very difficult, but there is a but in this. Maybe West Ham could be in for him on a free. It can make sense. I mean, the weird thing with Phil Jones is, I know he's a figure of ridicule, but when he was 18 and when he was at Blackburn, helped him stay up as a centre back. He was like being touted as the next John Cena. And then United came in for him, and apparently like Liverpool now were in for him. We got him for like 16 million quid or whatever. For a teenager, it was quite a lot at the time. I think it might be 17 million. Did all right as well. Don't forget, Phil Jones was like in the England squad going right up to 2018 in the World Cup. Well, he was in the squad.
That when Ollie first came in, Phil Jones started.
Yeah.
Phil Jones was. This is going to be. He played Phil Jones and was it Bailly?
Yeah, I think it was Jones and Bailly.
Absolute crazy back two.
That's just like not one for longevity.
The other reason was like Gareth Southgate went. He's a better footballer than Chris Smalling. He might not be a better defender, but he's not bad with his feet. He plays a bit. He just has absolute clangers in him. I think but he is a better footballer. You think that he got very unlucky with injuries. Got very unlucky with he just kind of got that.
There's reports as well, and I don't know if that's true or not, that he might have been struggling with his mental health and stuff. I don't know if that's true. But it's a shame for Phil Jones because he played a lot of football when he was a younger player, and now he's barely played or he's not played any, has he, for 18 months. And when he has played recently, you think about the game against City in the Carabao Cup when he had a bit of a stinker, the game against Sheffield United when he had a bit of a stinker. It's 3-3 at Bramall Lane. Yeah. So I personally would love to see Phil Jones get a move to West Ham and get his career going again. He's 29, he's got a few years left in him. I'd love to see that because I feel a little bit sorry for him. Remember when Twitter did that thing, like, name me a player better than Phil Jones? I mean, fuck. What are you doing that for?
No.
Like, there's obviously, you don't need to pick on him. There's millions of players that aren't as good as Phil Jones. It's just stupid trying to be clever. So yeah, we'll keep you posted on that, and I'm not going to sort of overplay it and like say Phil Jones was it Fergie said he could have been the best player we ever had.
Better than Duncan
How much wine was Fergie drinking at times, man? You just think, you remember like he said about Van Persie could have killed him when he beat the
Ashley Williams. Yeah, I use that all the time. That's my favourite. Bad tackle could have killed him.
I say that. Could have killed him. We're going to wrap it up there. Alex Bagley, where can people find you?
Baggers_Alex everywhere. Usually everywhere.
It's me and you all in the fort this week, isn't it?
We're here.
Do you know what I mean? I'm Adam McCullough from home and me and Baggers from the studio.
Don't worry, we're here.
So we've got you covered, don't panic. The rest of the gang will be back next week. So make sure you're checking out Baggers on the socials. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and the notification. Get us to 600,000 subscribers, please. We appreciate all your support. We've also got a members video that's out. It was me and Dee, wasn't it?
Me and Dee we were going through some kits.
Mate.
Great video.
So
it's quality video.
If you check that out in the members section, we've got some offers on for members as well. I've been Jay Marty, that's been Alex Baggers. This has been Stretford Paddock Transfers Live. Thanks for watching.